Terence Crawford is actively seeking guidance from as many people as possible in preparation for his highly anticipated fight against Canelo Alvarez in September. Yesterday, he was present at the press conference for the David Benavidez versus David Morrell match, not just as a spectator, but to engage in a training session with Benavidez. This comes after Crawford recently received valuable lessons from Floyd Mayweather, adding to his growing network of expertise. Crawford has now turned his attention to someone who has been deeply involved in discussions about a potential fight with Canelo for years.
I shake his hand, you know what I mean? I try to be cool. Because last press conference, you know, we did the talking, but then in the middle, after, we was cordial, we were shaking hands and stuff, so. No, I was just expecting the same thing.
Among the fighters of this generation, David Benavidez, along with Dimitri Bivol, who defeated Canelo a few years ago, has the most extensive knowledge of Canelo's style. Benavidez, often referred to as the Mexican Monster, has always been confident that he could defeat Canelo if they ever met in the ring. When asked about the upcoming fight, Benavidez remains firm in his belief that he's ready for any challenge. "I still see it as a 50-50 fight," he says, acknowledging both his own strength and Canelo's skill. Despite this confidence, Canelo has repeatedly turned down the idea of facing Benavidez in the ring. Now, Terence Crawford has decided to meet with Benavidez to learn more about Canelo's tactics as he prepares for his own showdown with the Mexican champion. The two spent considerable time discussing Canelo's boxing style and exchanging their thoughts on how to approach a potential matchup. Benavidez, known for his dominance and feared reputation in the ring, has long held the title of the boogeyman in boxing. His upcoming fight against David Morrell on February 1st at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas promises to be more than just another bout. This highly anticipated showdown has been building for years, with Morrell constantly calling out Benavidez. Undefeated with a record of 110, including 9 knockouts, Morrell is confident in his ability to dismantle the WBC interim champion. However, Benavidez has more on his mind than just securing a win. "I'm focused 100% on this fight. I don't like the way he talks, and I'm not in this position because of anything like that," he says. As for the potential fight between Crawford and Canelo, there has been skepticism. Canelo Alvarez has never fully embraced the idea of facing Crawford, citing his smaller size as a potential disadvantage. "Crawford is a good fighter. I know that," Alvarez said. "He thinks he can do everything, but I think he knows it's a little bit different at 154. While Alvarez respects Crawford's skills, he believes the weight class is a significant factor. He's a good fighter, but that's why we have weight classes," Canelo explained. "I like Terence Crawford and his style. It's just different. You can see that in his fight against Madiev. It's just a different position."
Possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
You know, it's crazy when you asking about that, because you say, you're much.
As the fight between Canelo and Crawford looms closer, all eyes will be on how Crawford continues to adapt and whether his newfound insights will give him the edge against the reigning champion. "If he wants to work with me, he has to understand my approach, and I need to understand his. I didn't like the way he approached things, and it's clear he's not doing things the way I would." As for the others, Alvarez suggested that it might be best to wait just a little longer before meeting unbeaten former 168-pound title holder David Benavidez. This would give Benavidez time to focus on whoever is crowned the undisputed light heavyweight champion when unbeaten Russian Dimitri Bivol and Artur Beterbiev face off in Saudi Arabia on August 12th. "People want to see that fight, but they'll have to pay for it," Alvarez said. He also expressed interest in fighting in Japan, where one of the fighters he admires most, former featherweight champion Oscar Larios from Mexico, fought many times. Alvarez said, "I grew up watching Jorge Larios. He went to Japan a lot, and I really want to go there and have that experience." However, as for Saudi Arabia, it remains uncertain whether he will ever fight there. Alvarez has expressed his dissatisfaction with the Boxing Federation, especially with the way people like Al Heyman have approached him. He has made it clear that he's not happy with the way things are going in boxing.
You know, I wasn't really too much worried about the right hand. You know, he landed a couple of times at the end of the round where he was trying to steal it.
According to reports, Alvarez might finally be looking to face David Benavidez in the near future, but the boxing star has asked for an enormous $200 million for the fight. Al Heyman seems to be unwilling to meet these demands, which could complicate matters. Heyman has played a major role in changing the dynamics of boxing in recent years and has been instrumental in the sport's resurgence. However, Alvarez is not inclined to follow Heyman's path, and it seems Heyman Heyman feels the same way. In a recent statement, Heyman made it clear that he is not interested in agreeing to Alvarez's terms for the biggest fight in boxing.
On this fight, look, I don't like the way he talk, and I'm not in this position because of any.
When asked about the situation, Alvarez said, "It's crazy when you ask about that because you're saying, oh, your fight is coming." In a media conversation, Canelo Alvarez explained his reasoning for requesting $200 million for a fight against Benavidez. Obviously, he's a great fighter, and he brings a lot to the table on fight night, Alvarez said. "It's a risk, but I don't care if the money's right. We could make it happen tomorrow." However, a $200 million fee would require a massive gate for promoters to generate enough revenue, and Al Heyman knows this. Heyman responded by saying, "I don't want that fight. I think I deserve more than that. Canelo said he respects me, but doesn't like the way I do business. I don't care if he respects me or not. I know why he doesn't like my approach."
Way to approach. It's not the way to approach to me. Look, I respect everybody, and I respect Turkey, but look, if he...
Because I target big fights at fair prices. Anyone who's looking for easy fights won't like that. Heyman also questioned Alvarez's capability as a fighter. Canelo is looking for easy fights, and I understand how he feels after losing to Bivol. Since then, he's been chasing easier matchups, Heyman said. "But I'm not the one afraid to fight Benavidez or Crawford. I know he's wasting our time and making excuses about money that can't be paid. I'm focusing on making big fights that serve the boxing world, while he's on his way to making easier, show-only fights." Recently, Turkey has stated that he is no longer interested in pursuing a fight with Terence Crawford. What's your reaction or response to that? The situation must be particularly disheartening for Terence Crawford, who had viewed a potential showdown with Canelo Alvarez.
7, to be honest. Israel just was a strong opponent. You know, we knew that coming in.
As the biggest fight of his career. It was a fight that could guarantee him the highest payday of his boxing journey. Crawford had shown interest in the idea of fighting the Mexican star, provided a lucrative offer was presented. As the saying goes, if the money's right, we've got to fight. In a ringside interview, Crawford shared his thoughts on the matchup, stating, "It wasn't much different from 147, to be honest. Israel, his last opponent, was a strong competitor, and we knew that coming in." He added, "At the same time, though, I've got my own fight that I'm focused on. Now, I'm going to spend some time with my family, relax, and enjoy the accomplishments I've made in boxing." When pressed about a potential fight with Canelo, Crawford remained unfazed, saying, "The right hand wasn't bothering me. He landed a few punches at the end of the round, but he was just trying to steal it. To be honest, it's not that important to me. This is just another milestone toward greatness and, of course, financial success."
Central offer, possibly to face Crawford for coming up here. Is that true, or what happened with that?
No, I don't have any offer, and look, I'm 100% focused on this fight, and then...
However, before the potential fight with Crawford started to take shape, another feud had already emerged. This one began several months ago when Turki Alaki, who has played a significant role in revitalizing the boxing scene as the face of the Riyadh season movement, posted an update on social media. In the post, Alaki claimed that he had sent an offer to face Crawford. When asked about the details of the offer, Crawford responded, "No, I don't have any offer. I'm 100% focused on my current fight." He continued, discussing his plans to continue organizing boxing events in the United States and to further develop the careers of top boxers he's worked with over the years. Alaki had also taken to calling out Canelo for a fight with Crawford, but it seemed that Canelo no longer had an interest. Crawford, on the other hand, had expressed a strong desire for the fight, describing it as a legacy-defining moment that could bring generational wealth. Alaki publicly stated his intentions to make this fight a reality, saying, "I told him, we'll send you 2 gloves if you want to fight in Saudi Arabia, that's it." But Canelo's response was somewhat surprising. "Send me 2 Ferraris instead." Further complicating matters, Canelo was asked about the payout he would need to face Crawford, and he reportedly told one reporter that $150 million would be the amount required. Whether that figure was a serious demand or simply posturing remains unclear. What is certain, however, is that this response may have led Alaki to rethink his plans of making the Crawford-Canelo fight happen. Back then, the fight seemed unlikely to happen, but those of us familiar with the boxing world understand that death in fight negotiations is just a daily unlikely occurrence. When both sides genuinely want the fight to take place, it's bound to happen eventually. Aside from Crawford, the most significant fight for Canelo right now is with David Benavidez, a volume-punching fighter who poses the biggest threat to the Mexican champion. The real competition in the 168-pound division is now between these two. The fight that boxing fans truly want to see is Canelo versus Benavidez. Everyone's eager for this showdown, and it's the match everyone is talking about. In a recent interview with ESPN, Benavidez spoke about the potential clash with Canelo, saying the reason it hasn't happened yet is simple. Canelo doesn't want it. He added that the money and the anticipation from fans are there, and it could be an incredible event. However, for now, the 27-year-old Benavidez will have to wait his turn for his shot at undisputed glory. Benavidez also shared his thoughts on Canelo's fighting style. When discussing the upcoming fight between Canelo and Jaime Munguia, Benavidez advised Munguia to focus on throwing combinations and then quickly moving out of range to avoid getting countered by Canelo's powerful shots. He believes the key for any fighter facing Canelo is to avoid fighting on the inside, where Canelo is most dangerous. When asked whether Munguia could beat Canelo, the Mexican monster, David Benavidez told the Shanzid YouTube channel, "I think so, but it's not going to be easy. Canelo is a strong fighter, a great combination puncher, and if you look at the fighters who have given him trouble, it's usually the ones who can throw combinations." Benavidez also emphasized that any fighter facing Canelo needs to be cautious and avoid unnecessary punishment. He explained, "The key is to keep your distance. You can't let Canelo get inside because that's where he shines. He loves throwing body shots and he'll find you if you're not careful." According to Benavidez, staying at range, landing combinations, and getting out of the way is crucial. If you don't have to be in the pocket with Canelo, don't be there. Avoid taking unnecessary hits. If Benavidez can successfully avoid Canelo's punches, he believes it will definitely affect Canelo's performance. He also praised the immense power behind his own punches, asserting that being smart in the ring and avoiding unnecessary punishment could give him the upper hand. "I've been watching Canelo for a long time, and I've got a solid game plan for him. If he's able to execute that, it's gonna be a tough fight. We all know he's got power. You saw that when he fought John Ryder. His punching power is impressive, and this fight is definitely going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be as easy as some people make it out to be. He's a tough fighter. Sure, he does get hit a lot, but in boxing, sometimes that's just inevitable. You're going to take some punches. Canelo has the ability to crack, too. You saw that against John Ryder. His power is no joke, so it's going to be a compelling matchup. I believe this fight will be much tougher than people expect. Canelo is a warrior, and being Mexican, he brings that fighting spirit into the ring. It's going to be a great fight." Interestingly, David Benavidez seems to have come to terms with the reality that a showdown with Saul Canelo Alvarez may not happen anytime soon. Despite his persistent efforts to position himself as a legitimate challenger to the Mexican champion, Canelo's stance remains firm, making it difficult for Benavidez to secure that dream fight. As a result, the Arizona native has shifted his focus toward new challenges in the light heavyweight division. Benavidez has already confirmed his next bout at 175 pounds against Ukrainian fighter Alexander Gvozdyk, scheduled for June. This move comes after he was named the WBC super middleweight mandatory challenger last year, a position that ultimately allowed Canelo to avoid facing him without risking his title. For Benavidez, who has struggled to make the fight happen with Canelo, this situation has pushed him to explore other opportunities. The possibility of facing Canelo became even more complicated when Benavidez demanded a massive $150 million purse to proceed with serious negotiations. Recently, additional hurdles have appeared for a potential Alvarez-Benavidez matchup. Benavidez, who is 6 years younger, 6 inches taller, and has a 4-inch longer reach, is naturally the bigger, faster, and more explosive fighter. This makes Canelo's concerns about the fight understandable. However, it was reported that Benavidez is open to including a rehydration clause in the contract. In response to the growing debate, Canelo made it clear that he doesn't see the benefit of imposing weight stipulations on Benavidez. He said, "A rehydration clause is a lose-lose situation. After the fight, people will just say it was because of that, and then what? It'll be the only thing they talk about if I win. They'll say it was because of the clause, not because of the fight itself." Canelo, speaking from his training camp near Lake Tahoe, California, emphasized that adding weight restrictions would only invite excuses after the fight. He added, "You're in a lose-lose situation. People will always find something to blame. Look at what happened with Ryan Garcia when he pointed to the 136-pound catch weight and the 10-pound rehydration clause as the reasons for his knockout loss to Tank Davis. Alvarez believes a similar situation could unfold if he manages to outlast Benavidez. Alvarez is certainly no stranger to weight clauses in high-profile fights. Back in 2013, when a still-developing Alvarez fought and suffered his first career loss to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Alvarez was the World Boxing Council and World Boxing Association 154-pound champion. However, he had to fight at a 152-pound catch weight. Mayweather insisted on this clause after initially requesting the fight to take place at 147 pounds, then 150 pounds, before settling at 152 pounds. On the night of the fight, Alvarez weighed in at 165 pounds, while Mayweather came in at 150.2 pounds and fought at around 152 pounds. The situation was definitely tough for Alvarez. After the fight, there was plenty of discussion surrounding the weight clause, and Alvarez ended up suffering his first career defeat. Because of this, he has made it clear he isn't a fan of agreeing to weight clauses in future bouts. However, David Benavidez believes he knows why Canelo Alvarez is avoiding a fight with him. Last month, it was revealed that Benavidez would be moving up in weight to challenge Alexander Gvozdyk for the interim 175-pound WBC title after being unable to secure a fight against the 168-pound champion, Canelo Alvarez. Speaking at the Jaimvel Diaz press conference in Miami on Wednesday, Benavidez explained why he made the decision to move up in weight. "I don't know what Canelo wants to do," said Benavidez. "I was the #1 contender to fight for the belt. I've been waiting for 3 years, but he didn't want to give me the opportunity, so I had to move up. I got tired of waiting. I want to give the fans the best fights, and if he doesn't want to fight me, I had to move up and wait to find other fights. I'm not scared of anybody. I've hurt everyone who's been in front of me, and Canelo is no different. I'll hurt him too, and I'll take all his belts." Benavidez also criticized Canelo for reportedly asking for a large sum of money to make the fight happen. He believes Canelo doesn't want to fight him because he knows he will lose. "I think he already knows what's going to happen when he fights me. I'm younger, stronger, and faster, and he knows it very well. That's the reason he doesn't want to fight me." Despite being an undisputed champion for years, Canelo Alvarez has rarely spoken respectfully about Benavidez. This ongoing rivalry suggests that Canelo might eventually have to break one of the unwritten rules of his successful career as Benavidez's challenge grows louder. The intrigue and war of words surrounding a potential Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez fight began somewhat inadvertently. The WBC has now ordered Canelo to fight Benavidez next, should Benavidez win his upcoming bout. With this development, Benavidez was asked whether he would demand the WBC strip Canelo of his title if Canelo fails to face him. Canelo, reflecting on the possibility of facing his conqueror, WBA light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol and Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, made his thoughts clear. "If Zurdo wins the fight, I don't want to fight any more Mexicans," Canelo told USA Today. "I represent Mexico. I think Zurdo has a chance to win, and I want him to win." Canelo made these comments leading up to his trilogy fight with Gennady Golovkin, though in the end they became irrelevant. Bivol, in a masterful display of boxing, defeated Ramirez by a wide unanimous decision in Abu Dhabi last November. Benavidez, frustrated by Canelo's remarks, fired back. "Career doesn't mean anything," Benavidez stated, referencing Canelo's comments. "Maybe after he gets that money, he can buy himself a pair of balls, you know? At the end of the day, the people are getting frustrated. I just want to fight the best. I've earned my title." Benavidez seized on Canelo's words, particularly the part about not wanting to fight other Mexicans. He clarified his own background, saying, "To be honest, I feel like I'm Mexican and Ecuadorian, but I was born in the US. I feel like Canelo is just talking about his countrymen, people from Mexico. I get a lot of criticism too, with people saying I'm American, not Mexican." He continued, "That comment Canelo made, it's not for me. I'm not 100% Mexican. I'm Mexican and Ecuadorian, and I was born in the US. I feel like if he's not gonna fight any more Mexicans, then what's going on? I have the WBC interim belt, and we have rankings for a reason. I've earned my spot repeatedly. I've won 2 title eliminators. It's not my fault these guys don't want to fight me. I don't want to keep talking and talking because we all look like idiots. Benavidez continued to express his frustration. The walls are closing in for these fighters. I've been a champion for a long time. I've earned my shots, earned my respect. The only thing that's keeping me from being a champion is Canelo. He doesn't want to fight me. Though Benavidez also named other potential opponents, such as Jermall Charlo, David Morrell, and Caleb Plant, it was clear that Canelo was his primary focus. When asked about a potential fight with Benavidez following his dominant victory over Golovkin, Canelo responded, "I don't know, anything can happen." He added, "When I say I don't want to fight Mexicans, it's because I represent Mexico, that's why. But I don't care. I'll fight anybody. My entire life, I've fought anybody. I don't want to fight Mexicans because I represent Mexico. I'm from Mexico, and that's why I don't care. I'll fight anyone. I've been fighting my entire life, and I'm ready to take on anybody." When Canelo first started his career, he faced a series of fellow Mexicans. However, it's true that since stepping up to the world stage, he's fought fewer fellow countrymen. Now, what do you think about David Benavidez training Terence Crawford for his upcoming fight against Canelo? Do you think this will take away from Benavidez's preparation for his own fight with David Morrell? We'd love to hear your predictions for both bouts. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford and David Benavidez versus David Morrell. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. That's all for now. For the latest updates on boxing news, moments, events, and action, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our top quality content. Until next time, peace out.